Hello and welcome to Canadian Franchise Opportunities, your guide to Canadian franchises. You can find us on the web at cafranchiseopportunities.com. This presentation is on Canadian franchises, 4 steps to finding the right franchise. Let's get going. Okay, now the first thing to think about or consider is that starting a franchise is not for everyone, and you just have to be careful what you're getting into, basically. So for many, there's typically a catalyst in life that starts a person on this quest for a franchise. Some of the more common reasons we hear are, number one, I'm halfway through my life and I'm not reaching my financial goals and I'm looking for a franchise to help me do that. Or number two, I don't have nearly enough money saved for retirement and I need to expedite that and I'm looking for a franchise to help me do that. Or 3, I'm really tired of the corporate rat race and I want more control over my daily life. That's also a popular one. And the list goes on. But whatever the catalyst, to find a good franchise for you, we suggest a key principle that you follow. That principle is finding the right franchise requires examining yourself as much as the opportunity. Okay, let's get into the 4 steps. Number 1 is understanding franchising. Many make the mistake of thinking that they understand the franchise business model because it seems so familiar. There's franchises everywhere. But this lack of understanding can cause you actually to overlook some of the important details that you need to incorporate into your decision. Here's some things for you to think about. When you purchase a franchise, you don't actually own the business. Instead, you own the right to operate the franchise business for a specific period of time. It's typically 5 to 10 years. Number 2, you're buying into a system and you need to follow the rules. The franchisor defines the operational business model and you're expected to operate that business as it's been defined. You're not creating a new system here. And number 3, keep in mind that the right franchise should be providing you with brand recognition, a proven business model, and a local internet marketing strategy. Now, these aren't the only 3 things that a good franchise is going to provide you, but there are 3 key things. So understanding those are key parts of the franchising model. Now, number 2 is knowing what a franchise offers, or maybe more importantly, what it doesn't offer. Now, to decide if a franchise is a good fit for you, you need to really make sure you understand the details. Now, a typical franchisee gets into trouble when the amount of work needed to actually start a franchise business is severely underestimated. The key point here is you're not going to be on easy street just because it's a franchise. So don't go into this thinking, you know what, I don't want to work too hard, so I'm just going to buy a franchise. No, that's not the right thinking. In fact, here's some key things to keep in mind. A franchise provides you with a vehicle to success, but you still have to do all the driving. You still have to do all the hard work and make the decisions and have the dedication needed for success. Number 2, the franchise will provide you with the operational guidelines, the procedures, training, and support, but you still have to run and manage that business day to day. It doesn't run by itself. And for some businesses, that's a lot of work. And number 3, franchise or not, a business requires, I should say a successful business requires a passion for the business, a positive attitude, and a true willingness to give it your all. So, some key things in terms of what franchising offers and doesn't offer. Step 3, you need to take an inventory of yourself. One of the most important things that many wannabe franchisees don't do is take time to figure out what they bring to the table. Here's some things that you should make a list of. Skills. What is your skills inventory? Assess your strengths and your weaknesses. Dig up some past performance reviews. Talk to colleagues. Talk to some past bosses. Really figure out what it is you're good at and what it is you're not so good at, and figure out what that gap is. Because at the end of the day, you may want to bring on a business partner if that gap is too big. Business expertise. Document your past experiences that would help you succeed in a business. Do you have the experience to draw on in order to make the right decisions in order to succeed? That's your key question. And thirdly, goals. Goals. This is really important. Examine closely your business goals, your personal goals, your financial goals, and write them down. Write these down because they're going to become a selection filter as to whether or not that franchise is a good fit for you. And let me give you an example. You may find a franchise you think's a really good fit, like you have the skills, the experience, and you say, boy, I can really do well in that business. But you might find out that doing well in that particular franchise means you're going to earn, say, $50,000 a year. Now that may be great for some, but if your financial goals are double or triple that, well, guess what? That franchise is now off your list. So just be careful and take the defining of your goals really seriously, because it will help you stay out of trouble in picking the wrong franchise. And speaking of picking or selecting a franchise, make sure that you're the one that's selecting the franchise as opposed to the franchisor selecting you. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, you should be in the driver's seat, not the franchisor. The franchisor may see you and say, oh, wow, this person's going to make a great fit for my franchise, and they're going to want to get you in the door. They're going to want to get you to sign on the dotted line. But if that franchise doesn't meet some of those goals we just talked about, then if you make the mistake of let the franchisor drive this decision and select you, and then you end up signing, you may be contracted for the next 5 years into a business that really isn't a good fit for you. Here are some things for you to consider. Beware of franchisors that are only focused on selling franchises, meaning they're only looking for someone with a heartbeat and the money needed to purchase the franchise. They're really not focused on your long-term success. Be able to identify those and stay away from them. Secondly, a high-quality franchisor, as I just mentioned, may see you as a good fit for their franchise, but that doesn't mean the franchise is a good fit for you. So be willing to say no if that, in fact, is the case. And thirdly, a high-quality franchisor should be able to provide you with a franchisee success profile, defining the characteristics of a successful franchisee and what makes up a success. What are the characteristics of a successful territory? Look for that. Ask for that. In summary, franchising. You operate, but you don't own the business. And in starting a franchise, don't underestimate the amount of work. You're not going to be on easy street. Do a self-inventory. Know what you bring to the equation. And in terms of franchise selection, don't let the franchisor select you. You have to select the franchise. I want to thank you for listening. Please visit us at cafranchiseopportunities.com and check out our free tools. We have a Franchising 101 book that will give you the basics of franchising, a Franchise Fit 22-page ebook that will help you identify whether or not franchising is a good fit for you. And then finally, when you get into the details and you're really getting into the nuts and bolts of analyzing a franchise and you're doing an evaluation, download our SWOT analysis. That stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It'll help take the emotion out of the equation and force you to do a detailed analysis. Now, if you found this video helpful, please like us. And again, thanks for listening.